Hey friends, Peggy Hall back with you from the healthyamerican.org with continuing coverage on this Maui disaster. I've got a playlist called Maui Fires, and that is linked in the description box of my video below. And I want to thank all of you that have been sending me your links and emails and story ideas, support at thehealthyamerican.org. As I say, I've been covering this for over a week. We are a week now as I'm recording. Today is Tuesday, August 15th, 2023, and my heart and prayers are going out to everyone who has suffered in this preventable disaster and tragedy that is, there is more and more proof and evidence coming forward that it looks like it was not natural after all. Have to be a little careful on this channel. I do want to continue to be able to bring you this coverage. I do have backup channels, Rumble, Brighteon, BitChute, and so forth. Get on the Substack, which is free, and that way I can stay in touch with you and send you some long form analysis along with links and articles that you can share with others. I've spoken about the failed emergency system. I've spoken about these characters that are all at the top of the government that all came in basically in 2023 or a year or so previously, including the chief of police that was also on the scene of the Las Vegas incident. Gee, what a coinky dink. I've spoken about the Build Back Better plan from Josh Green New Deal. I've spoken about him saying that he wants the state to buy back the land and he wants to use it for workforce housing. I've spoken about his desire to infuse Maui and the state of Hawaii as a model state that others can mimic in terms of being sustainable and resilient and following all of the goals for the United Nations. He wants Maui to be a model 15-minute city. So I've spoken on all of this at length, and I'm so grateful that a lot of other YouTubers and Instagrammers and people on Rumble and so forth have, and other websites have taken my research and shared it because it's so important that we get this information out. The reason why I'm sharing it with you is because I want you to be empowered. I don't want you to feel as though you're just at the mercy of these nitwits. I want to show you how to outwit the nitwits by keeping your powers of perseverance and critical thinking alive so that you can stay alert and read between the lies and ideally keep yourself and your family safe if anything like this is inflicted upon you. Of course, you want to be prepared, have a plan, have your food, know where your documents are, make sure that you are alert and aware so that you can keep yourself protected from these types of events. In California, it's very well known that these fires are inflicted. I look at them as a type of terrorism, and it is a very hard pill to swallow to face the reality that there are the evildoers that want to exterminate you. And sadly, it looks like it was a success in their eyes in terms of what went on in Maui. So what I want to share with you now is proof of the DEW, that stands for Directed Energy Weapons. And I'm going to start by sharing my screen, and we are going to go right on over to Northrop Grumman. This is just one of many of the military companies here, or they're actually contractors with the military. And here you go, Directed Energy, high energy laser solutions. Gee, solving some problems, for the New World Disorder. Defending our nation at sea, on land, and in the air. And the reason I'm showing you this image is because, gosh, it kind of looks like Hawaii to me right here. And here's the laser beam. And lasers are a type of energy that can cut through metal. And as we've seen in the images, let me see if I can bring one up for you here. We've seen in these images again and again where metal is twisted, cars have been melted, yet the trees are still standing. So it reminds me of a microwave oven where you could put something in a little plastic container, the plastic doesn't melt. And I've shown you some images previously of trash cans that are still standing amidst this rubble. And no, they were not brought in for the cleanup because the city was closed. And here's Josh Green New Deal with his nice little hand sign there. They love to show this image again and again on their news stories. And there's the melted rims of the tire and this damage that certainly does not look natural or normal. Here are the trash cans that are unmelted. If this indeed was such a disastrous fire that cars were just being melted on contact. That defies logic because normal outdoor fires burn at 1400 degrees Fahrenheit. It takes 2500 degrees Fahrenheit at a sustained amount of time to melt any kind of steel, metal, alloy, anything like that. So again, it doesn't add up in terms of what we're being told. We looked at some of these ships that to me look like they were hit with this kind of laser, because it's very strange that in the middle of the ocean that there would be something that would catch on fire and that it would not, that it would burn and burn and burn. So again, we looked at these images previously, and this to me is consistent with microwave energy. And that's what it means. They've had this type of technology for 50 years. 50, all right, 50. That is longer than many of you have been alive. So for the last 50 years here, and this is Northrop Grumman, and you can look at Raytheon and you can look at others that are the that contract with the federal government, with the Department of Defense. For the last 50 years, we've advanced laser technology to defend against current and future threats. So miniaturized systems with high power input. So I did a little digging and I wanted to find out exactly who Northrop Grumman has contracted with. Well, they've contracted with the Air Force. And here it is, the Air Force Research Laboratory, new Air Force AFRL Research Air Force Research Laboratory, virtual range to bring directed energy. That's the DEW, directed energy capabilities to war fighters. DEW stands for directed energy weapons. This was just a little more than a year ago, June 9th, 2022. And this is in New Mexico, the Kirtland Air Force Base. It has awarded a contract to Blue Halo, and I can do another video for you on that if you're interested, but that did not really play into this story as much, other than the $80 million. Keep a list, would you, along with my list of all of the time that the numbers are always 80 million this, 80 million that. They love their number 8 and 80. So it turns out, as I did a little more digging, that the Air Force actually has, here we go, the Directed Energy Directorate overview. And here we go, 860,000 square feet of laboratory and Air Force base. And I found out they've got this Air Force Maui optical and supercomputing site, abbreviated AMOS, in Hawaii. Well, on the island of Maui. What a coinkydink. Let's take a look over here, shall we, at the map. And here it is, Air Force Maui Optical and Supercomputing Observatory. There's a picture of it right there. We can actually click right through. And I'm going to be telling you about that. Actually, this is a map, so I will bring this information to you in just a moment. I want to show that to you where it is in terms of the western side of the island. So here we had the Lahaina fires here. Kihei, there were some fires as well. These are two of the major tourist cities as well. Very beautiful. I've been to Hawaii many times. My heart is breaking for all of those that are suffering. My prayers are going out as well. And here we will take a look at that. Here it is, Air Force Maui Optical and Supercomputing Site. Now you may think, well, Peggy, there you go again. It's just a supercomputer. It's just a big eye. Oh yeah, they like the big eye also. That's symbolism. So freedom to operate and maintain satellites in space is a critical component of our national security. The U.S. Air Force assists in achieving this freedom in part by maintaining an awareness of the locations and capabilities of all man-made objects in space. Yeah, right. Let's take a look at this, shall we? Here is what research thrust at the AMOS site include satellite detection and identification, atmospheric compensation and resolved imaging. I need to figure out what that means. Astrodynamics and orbital metrics. But here's what I caught my eye. Laser propagation through the Earth's atmosphere. This center, and I'm not saying that this is the center that did it, but I am telling you that this center has the capability of sending out lasers. So let's take a look at what Wikipedia says about this AMOS site on Maui. I find it somewhat of an unusual coincidence. The MAUI space surveillance system is routinely involved in numerous observing programs and has the capability of projecting lasers into the atmosphere. Now, here, granted, it does not say that they are warfare lasers, and it says that they're sending them, projecting them into the atmosphere, but the logical conclusion that I can draw is that they also have the ability of sending them just into our, because this is our atmosphere right here, onto land. And because they are a branch or an operations system of the Air Force, and because the Air Force has contracted with Northrop Grumman that designs and has created for over 50 years, they have perfected their high energy lasers, which can cut right through metal and steel. It does raise some eyebrows. So here is directed energy weapon. If you're not familiar with that is, it is a ranged weapon that damages its target with highly focused energy without a solid projectile, meaning it's not one bomb. It is a laser, a microwave, a particle beam, and sound beams. All right. I got to stop there for a second, friends. This gets really interesting. I'm just connecting the clocks here and I'm thinking out loud as I do the research and I dig a little deeper. If they can destroy something with sound waves, with sound beams, you would not see it coming. Some people said that they were hearing some things. I don't know if you could hear this or not, but I'm going to be bringing you a video tomorrow where one of the fire experts, I think it was from the federal government, said that this was a fire that was fed by grass. And then I'm going to show you pictures of grass that has not burned next to buildings that are decimated. So they're using this as a cover story where this kind of directed energy can be lasers, it can be sound waves, and that is something that is going to be pretty undetectable. Luckily, we have physics. And as I've said before, I want you to grab this information before they scrub it. I'm already seeing online resources that are being changed to say that metal can melt at 1400 degrees. It can't. It's 2500 degrees. I have a giant handbook about fire, and I want you to find that kind of information as well. So the fact that we are seeing cars and other structures, steel that has been twisted. Why would a fire twist steel? How could a fire turn cars upside down? You'll say, Peggy, those were the hurricane force winds. Could be. All right, could be. Lots of things don't add up here. I'm going to continue to keep digging, asking questions, and I appreciate all of you being on board with an open mind as we dig a little deeper. My goal is to expose these evildoers, to show the holes in their narrative, to show you the duper's delight when they're smiling and laughing at inappropriate times, which is so despicable. And it reminds me of the Shady Nook, right? Back in the day when you had the actors there performing and not very well. So I've also got a few other duper's delights that I'm trying to line up for you. I've got so many windows open and pages of research and links, and I need to compile all of those and frankly organize them so that I can bring this to you in more bite-sized pieces. Let me know in a comment what coverage you would like me to cover. Do you want me to cover what's going on with the animals, what's going on with the donations, what's going on with the Red Cross? The Red Cross. I would think very carefully about who you donate your money to. I also heard on another news report that they are no longer taking donations in terms of food and clothing, that they have enough. And then, of course, Josh Green New Deal has already arranged, and I'll quote you the numbers here. He said there are 1,300, they like that number 1,300 Airbnb units that they've arranged, I think, and 400, or maybe it's 1,300 hotel rooms and 450, 4 plus 5 adds up to 9 of different Airbnb units that they have acquired for people to live in long term. If you don't see that this is the Green New Deal coming at a fast pace, then I hope you will study a bit more, because this is the great reject. This is exactly what the World Economic Forum, the WEFers, as I call them, this is what they've been dreaming about. And somehow, somewhere along the lines, Josh, yeah, pretty funny, isn't it? Like you josh someone means you're just kidding. Josh Green New Deal has been tapped to, you know, institute this and inflict this upon Maui and probably the entire state of Hawaii. I would not be surprised, and mark my words, I predict that this Josh Green New Deal, if not this election, in a future election, is going to be put up as a presidential candidate and possibly, just possibly, selected to be put into place for that type of Mauiization. I don't want to use that word because the island of Maui itself is lovely, as are the people, but what they're inflicting upon it is something despicable. Let's keep speaking out. Let's keep sharing the videos. Let's keep praying for all of those that need our help. Please watch my other videos. I've covered a lot of this previously, and I will continue to do so. Thank you, everybody, for being on board. Be sure that you subscribe to the Substack, where you can get the written analysis, the deep dives, in a format that is easy to share as well. All right, my prayers are with you, and I'll see you soon, everybody.